tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 85 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Can you guys believe it? Thank you so much for being on this ride with me. Thank you so much for taking this journey and spending time with me every day. You guys are the absolute best. My little tangling pals. Okay, so today's tangle is a really old one, but a very good one and a very cool op art type of a tangle. It is called Phi Cops. It is by Brad Harms, who is the husband of CZT Laura Harms, who is otherwise known as the Diva, or I Am the Diva at, I think her blogs is I Am the Diva CZT at blogspot.com. So you can check the Diva out. I don't think she still is posting regularly. She has been having some issues with her hand, so we will hope for her best recovery and hope to see her soon. But in the meantime, we are going to explore Phi Cops by the B-Rad himself, Brad Harms. Okay. So this is Phi Cops, except that this was a little bit different over here. But this is basically about filling loops, basically. This pattern is great for loops, and you may be able to do it into other shapes. This may take some practice for you. So let me step it out for you, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and step it out on our tile today. Okay, I'm using a gray tile again, mostly because it was at hand, and that's what I went for. And I'm going to start with my 4 dots, 1 in each corner of my tile, and I'm going to take some deep breaths as I pencil these in. The pencil I'm using is a Lumograph, Mars Lumograph. It is by Stedler in Germany, and it is an F. That means it has less graphite in it than your standard school pencils or golf pencils or Zentangle pencils. Those are 2B or HB pencils. Okay, I think 2B and HB are the same basic thing. But don't quote me, because I could be wrong. All right, let's try this out. Now, this is a loop happy tangle. So I am going to make some funky borders, and then I'm going to draw a string of loops in here, and I'm just going to make them all sorts of different sizes, maybe different shapes. Let's see. Put some orbs in here. I think that'll be fine. Let's pencil some in here. And we'll just leave the rest of this space for something like orbs or something that we can sort of glue it all together with. So let's see what happens as soon as I put my hand on my pen again. All right, so I'm going to pick one of these loops, this one to be honest, and we're going to draw Phi Cops in here. Now, Phi Cops the essence of Phi Cops is a technique. But the tangle goes like this, and we'll talk about that more as we go. So you're going to start by filling this loop in with curved lines. So I'm going to start to my right. You lefties may want to go left. And I'm going to start with a small one, and I'm going to start at the point and end at the string line. Let me zoom. We'll try to keep it in frame, and let me put my glasses on before we get into any trouble. All right. So now from the same point at the tip of the loop, I'm going to make more lines that radiate out. From the same center point. Okay, and now Let me think about this. Well, let me show you this and then we'll decide what to do. Okay, so the next step after you have filled your loop with these radiating curved lines, and these curves are going to make this more of a 3D thing. We're going to draw a line from the tip down to a point under the top of the line behind it. If that doesn't make sense, I apologize. Tip to about, 3/4 to, I don't know how to estimate the fraction on this, just not at the tip. There you go. That's as far as I'm going to go with this. Do I want to put an extra line in here or just go with this big one? Let's put an extra line in. So every tip, I'm going to go back with a curved line onto the one behind it until we have something like this. And I probably in retrospect should have put this one up a little bit further, but I think that's going to be funky. So, all right, the last step, this is not a hard tangle, okay? The last step is to go to the tip of each one of these, draw a curved line down, and ink it in. Okay, and try to make it as natural looking as you can from flowing from the tip down. And then do a nice neat job with your inking, remembering to breathe and not to rush. And I think you can already see the coolness of this. Right? So, and you can see why having a nice natural looking curve down is important here for the optical illusion. And some of you may recognize what this looks like. It looks very similar to the Opera House in Melbourne, Australia. Or Sydney, sorry, it's in Sydney. I've just got you guys from Melbourne on my brain. Thanks for commenting, by the way, on whether or not it's winter in Australia right now, and we found that it is. Excuse me. So on this last one, we can just circle it down and black it in, if that's what you would like. Okay, something like this. Now, aesthetically, I find this quite pleasing. I really love the way this sort of bursts off of the page. So I'm going to put a couple more of these in and see what happens. And you can tell that as your string shape changes, so also is your Phi Cops going to change shape, right? So let's try this one and see what happens. I'm going to use the dot over here in the corner as a start place. Now my curves are quite a bit wilder here. Yeah, okay, we'll leave it like that. I kind of like the way this looks down here. Let's put one more in up here. Like this. And I haven't quite figured out or decided yet how I'm going to finish this off here, so I'm going to wait and draw in some more elements and then make those decisions. Okay? So here I'm going to start the one in front of the last element, the last line. I'm going to curve from the tip down to the one behind it. I'm going to try to put a natural curve in there, keeping in mind that the end of this natural curve is going to curve down in the front, right? So we want to try to keep that a natural looking thing. Okay. And then down here, we're going to do I think I'm going to keep that like this so that I can sort of curl those down. All right, let's see what we've got here. And once again, I'm going to start at the end. And sort of put my little curve on there. And again, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with those yet, so I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. Some of these are going to be larger or differently shaped than others. What you're going for at the top is this curve. And I didn't quite get it. That's got a little bit too much lip on it, if you will. But here we can get this one, I think, pretty well. Remember to take your time with your inking. If you feel the need to rush, stop yourself and take a deep breath. Remind yourself that inking is also part of the Zen process, if you will allow it to be. And that is certainly one of my issues. I also have this issue that I'm trying really hard not to get, but seems to be slipping in on me too. So again, I will remind myself and you guys to take your time with your inking. Caden told me that I should call it blacking because black was a good color. And he's right, it is a good color. Right. So I'm having to make these a little bit skinny, but it's okay. That's why I sort of curved these out right here, the way I did with these top lines. Once again, this is not my best work here, and I've really messed up my illusion there by getting that line off. But again, I don't think once we get finished that anybody is going to notice or care. So I'm just going to finish this little baby off over here and ink that in. And still, even though it's not perfect, it's still pretty cool. I'm going to have to start thinking about what I'm going to do in these center sections where they're normally this would be a situation where I would put orbs and such in. However, that isn't going to work in this case because of the ink that is on the outer edges of this, and they would just get lost in that. So I'm going to keep thinking about that. If I do something, and I definitely will, I will first have to draw an aura in here. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that now, since we've had a couple of examples here. And of course now I could fill it with orbs that I have that I have the aura in. Okay. Yeah, that'll probably work. All right. Okay. So let's do over here and let's look at this space. I could conceivably start here and connect these elements, or I could start here and make them separate And of course, my first inclination is to come here and start here. Now, if I start here, I want to leave myself room to connect this. Okay? So now that we have this, we can be seamless. And again, you can see that Phi Cops is very, very versatile. Okay, so now let's finish this off. All right. And so be careful as you come down here, remembering that you need room here to connect these. Okay. And this one's going to be tiny, but it's still going to work. The illusion part is still going to work. Now, I may just leave that and bring this aura over here, like this, and see where that gets us. All right. Moving on, let's do this one. Now this is a really funky one. We're going to see how that turns out, right? So this one I'm going to turn just a little bit differently. And I'm going to make my littlest line down here pointed this way. And then I'm going to grow this out from there. Okay, it's definitely going to be fun. Let's see. And this is a good example of making them more dense or loosely packed. It's absolutely entirely up to you. Okay, so let's start here with going backwards. Remembering to make a nice curve in this. I suppose it could work straight. Maybe. I'd have to play with that. I think the straight might make a difference to how you finish it off, and that might ruin the illusion, but I'm not sure, of course. Okay, so I'm going to curve this down like I did on those others. And so you can see I'm changing the curve of this as I come down to these smaller ones. It's going to be necessary in order to fit the black part in there. Does that make sense? And if it has this look of curling down, then that's going to make that line a little bit easier to make. All right. There. Okay. Oh, Simba, is it time to sing? Is it? I'm sure they have missed hearing you sing. Maybe not. He says, I'm in the middle of my nap, but I just don't have the energy to sing today. Too much pressure, isn't it, Simba? He says, I'll be ready to howl a little bit later when it's time to play. Okay, so this is looking fun and interesting. I really like this. And again, by curving those lines a little bit slightly down, I'm able to do these little shorty ones. Because remember, again, this downward part is an extension of this upward part. And so in order for it to look natural, you want to try to go with the flow here. All right, let's see if I can make this one fit. It's going to be, well, I didn't quite get that the way I want it, but hopefully this will still be okay. Nope, let me bring that up a little bit. Well, this takes practice. You live and you learn. And you do it better next time. I think I will have enough of these looking good that the few spots that aren't perfect are going to be fine. Just be careful with your inking. That will make a big difference. Not that you have filled it in just so, but what you do with the edges and how careful you are with them is going to make a difference on how effective your optical illusion is here. All right, we're cooking now. I'm so glad I decided to do one that was going to be more relaxing and more flowing today. I'm much more relaxed. Caden is on his way. You're going to miss him terribly, but 4 or 5 days is a lot, and hopefully, see, okay, Cindy, don't fix your lines. Number one, if I were on a white tile, I could probably jelly roll these things into submission so that they didn't look so off. But I'm not on a white tile, so I cannot do that because the jelly roll will show. I might try it anyway. Hey, wait, I have gray pens. Okay, I'm going to try to calm down. All right, let's see what else we got here. Well, of course, we're going to have to put a little tiny one in here. Now, you can really loop your lines around like I am doing now. It all depends on how you want to handle the space. It does not have to be perfect. You just need to remember a couple of things while you're doing this, and that is second line down below the one before it. Put a nice curve on there, keeping in mind that we're going to put this little spot on the front. Okay, so if you're coming back down, you may want to change the angle of that a little bit. All right, then we're going to, whoops, of course, black that in. Ooh, that's kind of cool looking. Wait a minute. Did we just discover something neat? Probably not, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm wondering if it looks like that comes out of that little hole. What do you think? What do you guys think? I'm interested to know what you think. Drop me a comment and say, yeah, that thing looks like it's going into a hole, or no, Cindy, go back to sleep. Because that could happen. Did I tell you guys I fall asleep when I'm editing these all the time? It's terrible. Then I don't sleep well because I'm worried that I won't wake up in time to finish them the next day. Yep, I definitely am going to be getting my little gray jelly rolls out. I completely forgot about those little puppies. And see if I can clean up some of this with that. It'll be a good experiment anyway. So I like that. Let's see. Can I fit another one down here? Let's do another one down here. Any enclosed string space is going to work with this. The curves are going to be different. But other than that, it's going to work well. You can see here coming down on this side, this is where I'm shifting my line just a little bit in the angle. Okay? And I'm going to fill in my end. Start adding these in. I'm going to try really hard not to fix any lines, because that seems to make things much worse. I have to fix that one though. That was a little dangerous because this one needs to come out ahead of that, but we'll see how it goes. So there's definitely things to practice in here, and if I were you and had never done this before, I would put a bunch of loops in your sketch pad or your scratch paper and just fill them all in with Phi Cops and see what happens, see what troubles you run into, see what is easy for you. Let's see, I set, and they all look slightly different. And I love this one that sort of bumps up and down. Okay, so now that I have my central elements drawn in, I think I'm going to try this with just a little bit of line thickness here. And here. And just see what happens overall. Okay. I'll go ahead and draw this aura around. I'll draw it this way. Come down here. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my fan today before I started. You guys are listening to that too. It's hot, what can I say? All right, now what to put in these areas where I don't have anything. It could be, we can, at this point, now that we have an aura around everything, we can put orbs in here if that's what I want to do. But I'm wondering if I try something a little bit different, if I will have a more, well, a different feel anyway. So, you know, I've been on this flux kick lately, and what I really want to do is try putting flux in here, but I'm absolutely not sure in these tight spaces how that's going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. And worst case scenario, I can black it all in. Don't want to do that, but there. I like those. Going to fit them in wherever I can. I'm not gonna worry about which way they're pointing. This is going to be just a fill, just something to bring it all together. So I like those. There's more movement in that than there you get with orbs usually. I'll just black this spot in. So I really don't have any room to put anything else in here, unless it's an orb. Okay, so from here, I'm going to bring a couple out. Yeah, I knew an orb would make an appearance eventually. Let's put one or two more over here just to interesting things up a little bit. Put one in there behind. I definitely slipped my string on this one. That's okay. All right. Okay, so that's something more interesting on the side there. And I may stick some flux here and there in little spots. Let me focus on the spots that I need to fill from the string first. So let's start over here. I'm just going to slow down and take my time with these. This is one of my comfort tangles. One of those tangles that you do when you just want to feel good. You just want to enjoy the drawing and the outcome that you're going to get, and you know what you're going to get. Sort of like your favorite candy or chips or whatever you're addicted to. Just something to simply enjoy. And I do love this tangle. No matter where I put it, it looks cool. No matter what angle I'm at. No matter if the individual ones look good or not, the thing as a whole usually turns out very nicely, and so I'm always happy to put this in everywhere. Okay. There. Okay. So this is going to be interesting, I think, when I get done. Let's add some more and sort of fill this area up. Just enough room on that one. This is very busy, isn't it? Need some more busy over here. Just a tad. It's a little unfinished over here. Over here. At this point, this is all intuition. This is very much where you think you should add another one. Let's do it here. How does that look? We need more over here to balance it out. Just do your thing. And when you feel like you've done enough and it looks good, then stop. Of course, you can use any fill pattern that you want. Again, my caution is to make sure that you aura first, so that your black doesn't encroach on everything you're doing, and so that what you add in for a fill doesn't overwhelm the basic pattern. Okay, so for now I think I'm going to leave this right here. Let's talk about shading really quickly. And I'm going to use my pencil today. So what I'm going to do is shade these sort of like we have done M. Anning and some of the other ones with echo lines on them, and shade between these individual elements here. And then of course at the bottom you're going to want to have plenty of graphite. So I'm just going to run graphite down each one of these lines until I can't anymore, basically. But again, if you spend a little time on shading here, you're going to be good to go. Especially if you've made your elements larger like I have. This definitely gives you the opportunity to do some individualized shading. And if you don't care, you don't have to, of course. This is all up to you. It's your art. I encourage you guys all the time that I want you to take any ideas you get here and roll with them. Just make them your own. And if you want to do what I'm doing because that's more comfortable, then do what I'm doing. But anytime you want to explore, anytime you have an idea that you want to try, I beg of you to try that. Now, you could embellish on these. However, again, my cautionary note is that you don't overwhelm the optical illusion part of this tangle with other lines. These are really cool, and I really like the way that I ended them with the little black pool at the bottoms of these. I think that works really well, in fact, and I like this one too. So I'm going to go through here and go ahead and shade, and then I probably am going to get out my gray jelly roll and see if I can dot out some of my issues here. I don't want to use too much because, like I tell you guys, repairing things with jelly rolls is problematic because, number one, it shines and people can tell that you've used one, so you really, really, really want to use it sparingly. Two, you don't want to get to the point where you're dependent on a jelly roll to finish your art. It doesn't, it's not a big deal if you take out a little stray line or just dot out something you don't want, but then to depend on it to clean up your art at the end is probably a bad habit. I know it's a habit that I had that was very poor until I stopped doing that. For the most part, I'm not saying it never happens because you've seen me do it. Sometimes it's just necessary, and it's very helpful. But again, you have to use it carefully, cautiously, not liberally. You want to make little dots that are almost unseen. You want to, I probably should have cleaned up before I tried to shade. However, I want to see what shading does for me before I make a decision about that. And I am going to shade right here above my ink pool at the bottom. Okay, let's blend these and see where we're at, and then we will add to the other two. The rest of these elements, except for this one, are a bit smaller. So let's see where we're at here. Now again, I'm using that gray tile, so the surface is pretty smooth on this. It's one of the things I'm not excited about on these gray tiles is the tooth is very smooth. It's almost bristle smooth, and I don't necessarily want that. Bristle smooth is a type of paper that is great for pen and ink and shading and graphite, but is not good for much else. It's great for being able to shade because it has a very smooth surface, and so you're able to do fun things with shading and such. But it's not my favorite type of paper to use. I have a whole big pad of it here for black and white stuff, but I usually prefer to use my Zentangle tiles, and quite frankly, by the time you add up what you would spend on tiles and paper and all of that, then, you know, you might as well spend another $10 or so and get original Zentangle tiles. There's just no comparison. I used my Fabriano hot press watercolor paper the other day with you guys for, oh, I can't remember which tangle we did on it, but I was really displeased with the amount of water it would not take. I have become so spoiled by using my original Zentangle tiles, which is something I normally save for special occasions, but I feel like these videos are special occasions for me. There are times when I can show you guys what's out there, and I guess I am spoiled after having used original tiles over and over and over for the last 100 days. When I switch off and use something else, I really notice the difference. So if you guys are curious about original Zentangle tiles and what they're like and you've never tried them, they have several ways to try them on Zentangle.com where you shop. You can get like starter packs where they'll give you like 7 tiles of each color, and including a micron pen and you know, charcoal and all of that stuff, and a tortillon. You can try one of their starter kits, and I think they have one that has a little video of Maria drawing Zentangle back in the very, very beginning. It wasn't the polished thing it was. She was using her fingers as the tortillon. They had not brought in the tortillons yet. And so I found, but one of the cool things it has is it has, oh, I forget what they call the dies, but it has a bunch of sides, like 16 sides. And they've got the ability on there to choose random tangles like that if you have a point of reference. And so you can use that at Tangle Patterns too. I am getting constant calls and texts from political people. They're going nuts. They're going nuts. I am so disgusted with our government right now, all of it, from top to bottom, that I just want them all to go away. And they all want me to reelect them. Why would I reelect them when they've done such a poor job lately? So there you go. That's my political statement for the day. I'm not going to go crazy on you, but that's it. I'm just disgusted with our government right now, and I hope that something changes, but I doubt it will. I think for the last 20 years, okay, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, I haven't been particularly a big fan, and I am one that very much believes that we in this country, in my country, in the United States, we have been given the gift of voting, the gift that was won with the blood of our soldiers, and that people do not take that seriously and will not vote disturbs me and makes me angry. On the other hand, it also disturbs me and makes me angry when all of our choices are so poor. So there you go. That is my broad political statement for the day. I'm not going to beat anybody with it, but that is my very strong feeling. I am not a political person, but I want everybody to do their jobs. I was expected to do my job well when I worked. I still try to do a good job, although I'm marginally successful with that on these videos. Everything you do is worth doing well. That's something I've been trying to teach my child that he does not get. That is, if you're going to do a task, whether it's taking out the garbage, making your bed, going to school, working a job, whatever it is, it's your job to do it well. It's your right, it's your privilege to do that well, because what happens then is people notice somebody with a good work ethic. People notice people that have the right attitude. Those people get good things given to them because they give good things back. And so these are tough lessons to learn, especially for a kiddo that hasn't always had the best examples in his life. But we're going to work on that. I'm a big believer, and I have preached this in many of my videos, that attitude is everything. And I believe that life and what happens to us is 5% of what we deal with. 95% of our lives is how we choose to look at, perceive our attitudes, the attitudes we choose to have.
And it took me a long time in life before I could realize that attitude was something we chose. I did not always understand that as a kid. I hope my kid grows up a lot faster than I did, because it took me a long time to realize that. That's one of those epiphanal things you learn as you grow older, I think. You guys may disagree with me, so let me know in comments how you feel about that. Do you guys choose your attitude every day when you wake up? Do you choose to be in a good mood or a bad mood? Do you choose to look at the challenges that you're faced with in a way that helps you, or do you look at them in a negative way that holds you back from accomplishing the things that you need to do? And that is essentially the key to life, I believe. Not that you have what you need, not that your life is perfect, not that you have the people that you love. None of that is as important as the attitude that you choose to face each day with. So that is my preaching for today. I'll try to leave you alone. Most of you, I know, are going to feel me deeply on these issues, because I know most of you are going to feel the same, because I have found that most tanglers tend to have the same perspective on many things. We don't always agree religiously or politically, but we tend to agree on the life stuff. And I've always found that really interesting, and it's a wonderful thing to find a large group of people, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people are tangling these days all over the world. And for that many cultures and belief systems to get together and believe in the same things, the same concepts, in relaxing and breathing and holding true to the beauty in the world, our beauty, our compassion towards others, that is a mark of a tangler, I believe. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why this art form draws like-minded people together, but it does. And it's amazing to me. It's amazing that this art form has spread like it has, that it touches so many lives, that it's so healing. And healing isn't one of the things that they tout. It's not one of their, points that Zentangle believes that they do, but they know they do. They know that this art form is healing, and it's the method, not the tangles. It's the method. It's the Zen. It's the breathing and appreciation and the attitude of gratitude. I love that. They have a little thank you card that they will put in their Zentangle packages, and one of them says, have an attitude of gratitude, or with an attitude of gratitude. I love that statement. With an attitude of gratitude, you can change the way you look at the world. With an attitude of gratitude. I love it. So I challenge you guys today to go out and have an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude for whatever it may be that is in front of you. Gratitude that we have the opportunity to sit at home and do these things together and enjoy time together and listen to Cindy preach and put up with it because we like her anyway. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So that's my challenge to you guys today. So I kind of like what I've done. The last thing I'm going to do is get out my charcoal pencil, and I'm going to run it along the highlights of each of these. I'm also going to put it on the tips of my flux that are in here and sort of brighten things up. But before I do that, I am going to take a foray with a gray jelly roll, and I'm going to turn this over and see how matching the color is. Okay, that's slightly darker than the page. I wonder if I have a lighter one. And this is a cool gray. I also have a warm gray. Let's see, this is the other one. This is the warm gray. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that's closer, isn't it? Well, I can't really tell now. I think this one's closer, but I bet if I put it on, I'm going to make things worse for myself. That's actually not so bad. I think once I put the white charcoal and such on, we'll see. Is there any place else I'm just desperate to fix? Because I don't want to do this unless it's really, really bad. This spot over here. Oh yeah, that helps. It's right here. All right. Did I have anything else I needed to desperately repair? Because I think that's all I want to do. I don't want to draw attention to it. I just want a few small marks to go away. All right. Okay. Well, that didn't hurt anything, I don't think. Okay, so white charcoal pencil and jelly roll and we'll be done. All right. I'm definitely going to have to get another one of these. I'm touched my Z on the Zentangle, so that's not good. All right, here we go. Here's the magic. I don't think that once I get all of this smoothed out, that all of those little jelly roll marks are gonna matter. But again, if you're gonna try something like that, be cautious with it. Okay, a few more. Lift this pencil line here out so it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing. Mostly they don't bother me, but this one, right in the middle of my highlight. Okay, so now let's do these little ones and finish up on our flux. Put a few dots of jelly roll in on the orbs and we'll be done. Sorry about the noise from the fan today. Hopefully you can tune it out. I will try to put a little music in this, but quite frankly, I am so disgusted with the level of service and support that I'm getting on this. I may just quit the music thing. It's been lovely to have these pieces, but then I am having to send email after email to dispute the copyright claims, and it has been really frustrating. And I think if I'm going to pay for a subscription service, I shouldn't have to deal with all of this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. For now, I have it. Okay, now let's lighten the tips of these fluxes just a little bit. Make these look a little bit more fun, 3D, dynamic. All right. Yeah, I like that. It makes them so much fun. It just makes them come alive. I'm going to have to get some more Renaissance tile. The Renaissance tiles are the tan-toned ones. I'm out of the tiles. I have a couple of Zendalas in tan. And again, you can use the back of your cereal boxes or your breakfast food or your pizza boxes, anything that comes in packaged boxes. You can usually use the back side to tangle on, and frequently they are a nice tan color. So that is a nice cheap way to source some tan cardstock. And they usually have a cool marbled pattern on there that's interesting to work with. Some of them are gray, some of them are tan. So explore what you've got in the cabinets. It might surprise you. Okay, yeah, I really like this. All right, one last step, and that will be it for today. Let's find our Jelly Roll 10 and see if we can dot some little orbs in here without making too big a mess. Let's see. Yeah. It's just so nice and bright. That just pretties that up like nobody's business. Yep, I'm in the South. This is how we talk. I'd have to get my ink pen out and just go over a couple of lines there. Yeah, I like this. There. That is an awesome finishing touch. All right. So what do you guys think of Phi Cops? Have you guys done this before? Did you find it difficult or was it easy? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think? Give me a comment or a like or an unlike. Dislike, whatever. Thank you for being with me today. This is where we're going to leave it. I love you guys. You're awesome. Mwah. Hi from Oklahoma, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for day 86. And like I said, don't worry about anything. I'm still going to be here when we get done. It's going to be fine. We're all still going to hang out together. So happy Monday, everybody. Or wait,
Happy Tuesday, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.